Major decision by the Food and Drug Administration could change many of the things you eat, especially junk food. The FDA announced today that it will require the food industry to gradually phase out trans fats. Experts say the fats are a threat to your health, and getting rid of them could prevent 20,000 heart attacks and 7,000 deaths each year. Local 12 medical reporter Liz Bonis shows us what that's likely to mean for the food you eat.
The problem with trans fats is that there's really no amount of trans fat that is considered good for the body. So that's why they are putting this out and saying we need to get rid of it in all foods. But throughout the years, we've seen a lot of fast food places and restaurants and bakeries advertise they are going trans fat free, which means they change the kind of fat that they use in cooking and baking. Right now, the FDA is not saying how soon it will ask to phase this out. They are going to collect information or comments, as they put it, for about the next 2 months before they actually put a deadline on it. Trans fat is actually fat that when it's heated, it sort of changes shape and your body cannot handle it or filter it out. So it becomes something that collects in the body, and that is bad for your heart. Now, because it is in so many foods, it's going to be a while before they can phase this out. And what that means for you and me is a couple things. Companies that make everything from popcorn to pizza, they're going to have to change a recipe. And a lot of times when they change a recipe or take an ingredient out, guess what? They have to formulate something totally new, which means it costs money. And oftentimes they pass that cost on to you. So you could have a little different flavor, and you actually could have a few foods that are more expensive as we go through this process. But you need to remember that it's much like when we added vitamins to certain foods. We started spraying vitamins on cereals, for example, and over time we were able to change disease profiles. We lowered the risk of birth defects from folic acid in cereals and grains. So it's much like that. We hope to change the profile of our heart disease, or maybe the number of people who have heart attacks, simply by getting this out of our foods. As we learn more, we'll of course share it with you. Now back to you.
Thank you, Liz. Right now, you can tell how much trans fat is in a packaged food if you just check the label. The FDA says it isn't setting a timeline for phasing out the trans fats. The agency will collect comments for 2 months before they determine just how long it'll take.